Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to read in order to keep on track. I have before the board 2 standing complaints regarding the behavior of Chairman Burton E. Gould, Jr. One of these complaints dates back to May of this year, and until now I have been precluded by the chairman from being able to have it addressed. In an effort at employing discretion, my complaints shall be cast generally, but can be elaborated on for the board's purposes at its requests. It should be noted, however, whereas one of the instances in which some of these behaviors occurred still enjoys executive session privilege, I am foreclosed from discussing it in detail publicly until such time as you vote to release the minutes of that meeting. I'll stop there for just a moment. You did vote to approve the minutes of that executive session earlier tonight, but you were not clear as to whether you were voting to release those minutes or not. So I will still refrain from speaking about the specifics unless and until you vote to release them, and then it's free to talk about them in detail. And that'll be the meeting of May 17th, the executive session of May 17th.
I move to release the meetings of May 17, 2010.
I thought we voted on everything except the one meeting.
Not that one, though. We voted on this one.
You voted to approve them, but you...
Are you
We approved
making a motion?
I made the motion to release them so we can continue this conversation.
Is there a second to that motion?
How does this work? I mean, educate me. We voted on them, and we need another vote to...
Release.
Executive session is 2 votes. One is to approve them, and if there are still ongoing matters that are worthy of the executive privilege, they just stay on the shelf approved. It's not until all of those matters are resolved and no longer require the privilege that you would then have a secondary vote to release.
I have a motion from Ms. Hunt to release the minutes that were approved. Is that correct, Beth?
Yes.
All right. Do I have a second for that motion?
Do we have...
Do I have a second for that motion? Last call. Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second for discussion.
All right. Motion has been made and seconded and open for discussion. Mr. Zabikowski.
I guess the question I have is there some reason why this should be, not released right now?
Mr. Gould.
The law is there, and I'm going to object to it.
I'm not sure I understood that. You're objecting to the release of the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. And you said something about the law?
Well, if in fact the law is very specific about releasing executive session minutes, as long as there's no problem, it doesn't affect anybody, and, in this particular case, I believe it does.
Okay. Mr. Zabikowski, are you finished with the discussion? You have enough information to vote?
I think yes. Yeah, I guess I will...
You seconded the motion. Are you withdrawing the second, or are you...
Well, that's probably the easiest thing. If there's a reason that I don't understand right now to hold it, I'm going to withdraw my second.
Are you satisfied with the reason that's been presented?
Well...
You were present at the meeting, so you know whether or not there's sensitive information.
Well, yeah, I think it was some confidential, so I will withdraw.
I have a motion for release of the Executive Committee minutes by Ms. Hunt. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Motion fails for lack of a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will continue then in general terms, as is written in my report. Generally stated, it is my opinion, and I emphasize and underline in my report, it is my opinion, that the chairman has abused his authority. He has demeaned me both publicly and privately, harassed me, and repeatedly directed and or demanded that I violate the law at his command. When I have pushed back against his efforts in these regards, he has in turn disallowed me from being able to speak, repeatedly shouted at or over me, has gavelled me down, declared me out of order, threatened to have me removed, called my responses acts of insubordination, and even warned me to expect to have a disciplinary hearing relating to my, in quotes, my actions. I continue, this is not new behavior from this chairman toward me. I'm on record with an earlier complaint regarding an incident in which the chairman bellowed at me in a meeting using a particular nasty combination of explicative and ethnic slur to describe me. In fact, this has been his pattern of behavior toward me since October of 2006 when he was implicated in an ethics violation and removed from the board chairmanship. While it has clearly been Chairman Gould while it has clearly been Chairman Gould alone who has behaved in this unacceptable fashion, and he alone who deserves the repercussions from his actions, I must suggest that your failure as a board to address and condemn his behavior this evening may, unfortunately, be read as nothing short of your condoning it. Under action requested, I have written, please vote to condemn the actions of Chairman Gould as detailed above, and to take whatever other actions relating to him that you may deem appropriate.
Anything else?
I'd be happy to go into any level of detail on any
Anyone have any
wishes.
questions of the town manager about any one of the allegations that he has raised? I'm going to ask for questions first, and then I'm going to ask for Mr. Gould if he'd care to make a response. Ms. Hunt, any questions?
No.
Mr. Bond? Mr. Zbikowski?
I guess I'm having a hard time responding. Because there's a...
Well, you don't have to respond, you just ask a question.
I mean,
Do
well,
you have
the
any
question-
questions about what he said?
Well, I'm not sure I quite understand, because there aren't any specifics. It was I had anticipated, maybe I was wrong, that this would be because of an executive session maybe wrongfully called. But it seems like it's, a barrage of stuff, and I'm not ready to... I have to more, I guess I need more specifics to...
Did I miss it, or did you not raise a question about the propriety of calling the executive session for the subject matter discussed?
That's correct, yes.
Is that one of your concerns?
That is the beginning or the jumping off point for the first of my two issues.
So is that an
That one
issue
is-
also tonight?
That one is the issue that is still an executive session privilege because you voted, or you've not voted to release.
I believe Mr. Zbikowski wants to talk to that issue. Do you want to talk to that issue?
Well, is that the issue, the executive meeting
I believe
wrongfully called?
I believe the town manager indicated that was the beginning of the
first.
list of things that happened in connection with, in conjunction with the conduct of that meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, as I understand it, you wish to discuss right now only the question as to whether or not the executive committee was held on justifiable grounds.
Yes.
It wasn't.
And I agree with you, it wasn't.
Do you agree then with the behavior that I was subjected to when I made that point to the chairman and he demanded that I shut up?
What I remember of that meeting, Mr. Crayler, was you made the point that it was, you didn't think it was a lawfully called executive session. And once you made the point, that's where you should have dropped that. I also remember, you keeping on and on and on. So things may have led to other things, but I agree with you that that was probably a bad call on the executive session. But beyond that, I don't think anything really got that out of hand.
Mr. Chairman?
Any other, yes, sir.
I believe Bob's looking, the town manager baits Mr. Gould. He leads him, and that's how I see it. I
Okay,
seen
so-
him do it
so-
to past selectmen, Ricky McAllister, Jermaine Brooks, Larry Sardoni, Cindy Boucher. I've seen the videos, and it's like he leads them into a confrontation.
Okay, so the first issue here is the issue of whether the session was appropriately called, and Selectman Bukowski agrees with the town manager that the issue probably did not rise to the occasion of an executive meeting. Mr. Gould, do you want to comment to that since you called the meeting?
In relation to the executive session, I will accept the responsibility of that.